here that need to talk into the mics. And I'm probably the biggest one fault for that. Approval of the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Approval of the year-end bills. Everybody get a chance to look at that.
I'll move to approve the bills.
Motion to approve the bills. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the bills. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I think that's supposed to be roll call.
Oh, you are correct, sir. Roll call for the approval of the bills.
Aye.
My mic got. Bulk.
Aye.
Wilhelmie.
Aye.
Frith.
Aye.
Otis.
Aye.
Gessner.
Aye. Motion carries.
Sorry.
I'm used to seeing.
Now approval of the agenda. Anybody have any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Move to approve. Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Kevin, you're first up.
All right, first on my list is we got the load of semis or load of culverts from True North Steel for our stock order, and the invoice was for $30,401.92. So I'd just like to entertain a motion to pay True North Steel.
So move. Second.
Motion and a second to pay True North Steel. 30,000. How much was it?
401.92.
30,401.92. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Frith.
Aye.
Otis.
Aye.
Bulk.
Aye.
Wilhelmie.
Aye.
Gessner.
Aye.
We got a motion or an invoice from KLJ, DOT actually. These are for those 4 washout sites from 2022. And this project is running through the DOT. There are federal dollars involved, so they do all the finance. And so this invoice is for our share of the design engineering that KLJ is doing. And the 4 projects totaled $5,645.76. Normally sometimes we get a signature page that asks where we're getting our local funds from, but there wasn't a signature page on these invoices, so we don't have to deal with that this time. But I would like to entertain a motion to pay the DOT.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to pay the DOT their $5,645.76. Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Otis.
Aye.
Wilhelmie.
Aye.
Frith.
Aye.
Bulk.
Aye.
Gessner.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, and then our 5-year road plan, I did put a copy on everybody's desk. I don't know, you probably had a chance to review it on your computers too, but normally we just take the project from last year and move it to the bottom of the list, and then a new project just comes to the top. The first page is for our gravel projects. So this year, the Ramsey Benson County line by Howard Blagans has gone underwater. So we kind of don't know what year we're actually gonna be doing that because it's gotta come out of the water again. But it is at the top of the list. But also for 2025, we're graveling Ramsey 4A north of 9 to the Cavalier County line. And Ramsey County number 9A from State 20 east to 3, or the Hamden Road. So those are the 2 gravel projects that are coming up for 2025. Any questions on the first page for gravel? The second page is our major projects, our paving. And if you remember earlier in the year, we moved the Wood Rutten Road up to 2025 for design and 2026 to build. And so I did that on this sheet. So in 2025, we'll just be designing, overlaying Ramsey 4 from County 8, the Lawton Road north to Highway 17, and also the Prairie Road, Ramsey 7 over by Brockett. There's 1 mile there, and then the Wood Rutten Road is approximately 2.5 to a little over 2.5 miles there, and that's just the design part. And the old project, or the project we did last year, just moved to the bottom of the list. Any questions there? The third page is our chip seal projects. Again, we just rotated everything there. So next year, or this 2025, we'll be doing 8A from Webster to Ramsey County 3. And also Ramsey County 1, Military Road, Walleye Drive, and that piece by the grain terminal. That's the chip seal. Any questions there? Page 4 is our bridges. I did put some money in my budget for some design engineering for the Hagee Bridge in Morris Township. Don't have a year as to when that'll be built, but that's the bridge is at the top of the list right now. We in 2024 we had some 2 bridges that we were gonna tear out and replace with culverts. Those never got done because of the high water, but so they'll be done again in 2025. Those 2, they're not on this list. But any questions there? The last page is our equipment and building updates. This year we're putting some new windows in the north side of the main shop. I think there's 4 of them in there. I'm getting a new 3/4 ton pickup. That's been ordered. We're getting a new sand spreader truck with a snow plow and a belly scraper. And that has been ordered. And a salt shed with asphalt, sidewalls and roof, and a concrete pad out front. And the lumber for that shed has been ordered. Any questions on that page? And this goes on to our website. That's I kind of like to get it done before the first of the year. But if you want any changes made or anything, we can certainly do that. Got plenty of time to work on it. Yeah. Any questions?
Any questions for Kevin?
Nothing for me.
I'd move to approve the 5-year road plan as submitted.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve the road plan has been submitted. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried.
And this is kind of a living document, so we can make changes at any time we want to. If something comes up or anything like that. It's just something for the public to look at to see where their road might be coming up or some situation like that. The only other thing I was gonna bring you up to speed on is, we filled the motor grader operator in position in Penn. Brady Weiss from Candu, he's gonna drive to Penn every day, so he'll be starting tomorrow. And then a 6-inch storm or 6 inches of snow coming, so.
To break him in well.
And tomorrow we're also doing interviews for the Devil's Lake opening. We haven't picked a person there yet, but that's where we're at with that. Doing 4 interviews tomorrow. So we got some good candidates for that also.
Anything else for Kevin? All right, thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Unfinished business, the Highway 2 corridor project.
So I put together a letter to be submitted to DOT. Head of Highway Patrol, I think, is who that goes to. I haven't been completely confirmed on that, but I think that's what they told us, Alan. Yeah, the colonel of the Highway Patrol, probably the sheriff, and local DOT supervisor Wyatt Hansen. And so made some changes as recommended, and along with the statistics from the DOT and Vision Zero, and some big numbers. 90 total accidents over the past 12 years, 5 fatalities. And something that the sheriff pointed out to me, and that 72% of those were on straight level ground and during daylight hours and on dry surfaces. So something's telling me that speed may be a contributing factor to those accidents.
So you're looking for a motion to send this officially, correct?
Yeah, unless you want to additional changes or other suggestions. I thought at the point we get closer to sending it, or once they're maybe get closer to approval, maybe we can offer enforcement assistance, patrol assistance, whatever may be needed to get motorists to comply. And I think it probably really go a long ways to encourage the DOT to either place a electronic sign out there notifying motorists that upcoming speed reduction coming, just draw some further emphasis to reduce speed on that corridor.
Well, it'll definitely be
It'd be a change.
a change for out there.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna sneak up on a lot of people, especially
Yeah.
probably in the summer when the campers and stuff come back. So I agree with that.
So, and since engineering and funding could be, they didn't know for sure how long that portion of it was going to take. So this would probably be the quickest remedy to help alleviate some of the concerns out there. And hopefully we can maybe save a life or two.
Any other comments or questions on the letter?
I would move that we send the letter.
Motion and a second to approve the letter to be sent as is, I guess, with
We'll get that to Candy so she can put it on county letterhead with
okay.
chairman's signature on it.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried.
That's all I had on that. Hey, if somebody wanted the big packet, we can either print one off or email it. It's a pretty hefty document to send in the email. So whether some emails get it or can achieve it, I'm not sure, but Candy would be happy to print one off for you.
It appears that she would.
But that's the all the different intersections that were proposed. It's going to be a kind of a draft document moving forward, I think, and left for some changes. I think they're going to try to send that to some design engineers moving forward and see where it goes from there.
Al, you got anything? Okay.
I would like a copy. Yeah, emails.
For me?
Any other old business?
We got that already.
Moving on to new business, the approval of the 2025 beer license.
I have one question. The Ties Lodge, is that just changing?
Um,
The thing is on the bottom.
I'll explain a little bit of that. So we were told that Ties Lodge has sold. The new owner did come in, fill out the proper paperwork, everything that we needed. They don't think that, I mean, obviously he's going to have his county license before the end of the year, but the state, like they do a whole background check. It takes anywhere from like 4 to 6 weeks. So what we did to make sure that everybody was covered is that we're going to approve Ties Lodge just for the month of January, in case
Something fell.
things don't follow through. And then whenever he gets his final paperwork, everything, then he can just walk in and doesn't have to worry about anything because he'll have the local and state license to be covered.
Move to approve for the liquor license.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve the beer licenses. Is this a roll call? Or is this just
No, it can just be regular. Yep.
all in favor, say aye.
I
All opposed, say nay. Beer license is approved. Approval of the lease agreements. Yep.
Beer license expires at the end of the year. Liquor license don't expire until June 30th. Yep. Oh, hold on. So it should include, no, we're just doing a transfer of his liquor license.
but we haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
Because didn't that have to go through?
It already did.
Went through South Minnewacan.
Yep. It went through the township. So maybe we should
Go ahead.
amend the motion or make how
We'll
about we just do a separate motion?
Yep.
To approve transferring of the liquor license.
I'll make that
Yeah.
motion to approve the liquor.
Thank you.
To transfer the liquor license.
Yeah.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second to approve the transfer of the liquor license from Thai to JD.
Yep.
Wherever that is. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Thanks for mentioning that.
think so.
Okay, Approval of the lease agreements.
Nothing's changed on the lease agreements, right?
No,
That I could see anyway.
I believe that we added, pickleball to the
Park board.
park board. There wasn't any discussion at the time to like change the dollar amount, so we just printed this, just changed the date and printed the same as what is currently there.
Any other discussion?
We approve these all in one shot or separately or?
We can maybe do, let's do two separate. Is there two? We have leases and then we have agreements. Maybe we'd just make the motion to include both. How's that?
I would move to approve the leases and the agreements.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the leases and the agreements. Includes Devils Lake Basin Park Board, Devils Lake Public Schools, and the sheriff's houses would be under the leases, and Lake Region Health Unit and
Veteran service.
Veteran Service Officer with the other counties.
District health is in there for
HR.
for NHR. Yep. And then the joint powers with the three counties for the VSO.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Approve of the lease and the agreements. Board appointments. Ready?
Yep. Okay.
Mountain Lake Social Service Zone Board. Bill, is this the one you were changing with Paul or?
No, that was senior meals, wasn't it? Or senior
No, the Heritage Center.
Center.
Okay.
Yep.
So Lisa Holly would be up. Have we heard anything?
No.
We're just gonna leave that.
We'll tomorrow, I mean, before the next meeting, we'll be a little bit more aggressive and maybe just instead of sending a letter, reach out, call them.
Ramsey County Water Resource District Board, we have Brian Volk, John Browner up. And we also have two other people who have expressed interest, I believe.
So we have a letter of interest from John Brown, an email letter from Brian Volk, a letter from Van Howitt, and Briston Burke.
So those are all in your packets. Any discussion?
I know Van Howitt, he'll be moving here. He's currently a resident of Cavalier County and serves on their water board.
Okay.
Currently owns property here in Ramsey County, so would qualify him as a water resource board member. And as soon as his residence changes, he can, and we've cleared with the water resource attorney from Dwyer Law Office stating that he could serve on both until his residence changed.
Okay.
So, and he has met all training obligations that the legislature has set forth.
And the other one was
Bristenburg.
Christenberg.
And Briston farms up in that area around that Morrison Lake
Okay.
area that has been heavily affected by our spring flooding and runoffs. And he's got that property right on that leaf road that we just cleaned out. And he'd be very interested in serving and assisting.
Any discussion, anything? Anybody want to make a motion to put on there? Any other questions, comments?
Well, I would move that we appoint Brian Volk and John Brown just for the reasoning of we're in the middle of that joint process of a new agreement that we want to establish.
The drain 10, what you're referring to?
For me,
Drain 10, or is that what you're talking about, or?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, that hasn't been moved forward. I don't think it will. One of the things that I didn't appreciate about Brian's email was the fact that he's given the county commission kind of an ultimatum if he'd be willing to serve if we continue doing this, this, and this. And I'm not sure if that's exactly how water boards are supposed to operate.
Any other discussion?
I think Bill's motion is still looking for a second.
Yep. So we have a motion to approve John Brown and Brian Volk. Is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second to the motion? And does it die now after 3? That motion died without a second. So we still need a motion for the 2 positions on the Ramsey County Water District Board.
I would move to appoint John Brown and Bristenberg.
Motion to approve Bristenberg and John Brown to the District Water Board. Is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second? Motion dies without a second. Anybody else want to take a run at it?
I'll make a motion that we appoint Van Howitt and Bristenberg.
There's a motion to approve for Van Howitt and Bristenberg to the Water Board. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second for Mr. Howitt and Mr. Berg. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
nay,
4-1, the motion carries. North Central Housing Authority appears to be full.
There's a few
Couple.
on there that Tim Green did not get back to me. So I will put that on my to-do list as well.
Tim Green,
Mm-hmm.
is that where the
He's
vacant
the
is?
manager.
Oh, he's the manager.
Yep.
Okay, very good. Ramsey County Weed Board, Evan Shanefish and Lee Werner are up. And both of those 2 gentlemen have letter in
Yes.
to ask to be put back on there. I don't believe there's anybody else.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve Evan Shanefish and Lee Werner back on the Ramsey County Read Board. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I,
All opposed, say nay. Mr. Shanefish, Mr. Werner are appointed back onto the Weed Board. Ramsey County Planning Commission.
we should, adjust that. Jack Volk's no longer a city commissioner.
Oh, okay.
I think, is Jason Pierce on that planning?
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't get changed.
And I've discussed with Mr. Wilhelmy, I'm willing to serve that board, but he's willing to run for the chairmanship if nobody else wants it. Any other, that should be fine. There's still a vacant spot on there from last year, I think it was.
That was John Martinson.
Lake Region District Health Board appears to be full. Ramsey County Coroner, 5-year term is up on December 31st. Dr. Downs is currently the coroner.
Yes.
So I guess we'll have is there a motion to nominate Dr. Downs?
I would so move.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve Dr. Downs as county coroner. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I,
All opposed? Motion carried. So, Bill, you're good with the Senior Commission on Aging? You're on there till 2026.
Are you good with senior citizens?
Yep.
Being on that board still?
Yep.
Okay.
How about senior meals and services?
Yeah, I'm good too.
Okay.
Mr. Wilhelm, are you good with North Central Planning Council?
Yep.
Special Assessment Commission. Jeff, you good with being on there indefinitely? By yourself?
You all by yourself.
Okay. Law Enforcement Center Board, both Jeff and Blaine are up. You willing to serve on those boards or?
I am. Blaine?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Unless someone else really wants it.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's open. I mean, if someone wants it, I can step down. If not, I'll do it again.
okay.
I move that we appoint Frith and Commissioner Wilk to that 2-year term.
I will second that.
Motion and a second to leave Commissioner Frith and Commissioner Volk on the Law Enforcement Center Board. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I,
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Ramsey County Fair Board, I guess we don't have any terms on there and I'm willing to stay on that board. Unless somebody else wants it. Okay, I guess we don't have to do anything with that one. Ramsey County Airport Authority, Jeff is, or was up, I guess is up. You willing to serve on that board again, Jeff?
I am. I'd like to continue with that. And I'm not sure if we can make this retroactive since it expired on the 1st of July. but been going to all the meetings since then, so representing the county on the county's behalf with the airport. And the term,
Would it make more sense just to
Do it now. so now it's
do it as indefinite so that it always,
well, the airport authority has some of their own rules that they follow under.
oh,
And I
That's
think
probably
we're
why it's,
under century code under that way, and it's a 5-year, I think.
okay.
And I think I went on, when I first came on commission, the previous commissioner was, either didn't run or wasn't elected and that served on that committee, and
oh, so that's
so
why.
so I was appointed at that time, and then was reappointed when that term came due.
So is that being done the 1st of July? Is that, can we change that? Just make it like a 4.5-year term or to get it back in
Yeah.
time, or is that because of something else?
No, that would be
Just-
fit with
just
their
do it.
guidelines.
Okay. Was that clear enough for anybody to get a motion on?
I would so move to do that.
Second.
Did you get that?
Yep. I'm listening.
Okay. Motion and a second to put Commissioner Frith back on the airport authority and to move the time served to reflect the end of the year. Correct?
No.
Or not the end of the year, but the end of the 5-year
Yep.
term to coincide with
To
this.
keep it within their guidelines.
Yep. Now are you confused?
I'm still good with that.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
I
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. So we can't do anything with the Ramsey County reorganization and annex board until July or August.
July. Yep.
Okay,
July of 27. Oh, no.
no, 25.
25, it looks like.
Okay,
So in June, we'll have to.
so Forward Devils Lake Corporation, Development Corporation.
I've been on that one for the last year.
I had to pull because it didn't work out.
Oh, okay, so
And I'm good staying on that one.
Motion that Paul stays on it.
Second.
motion and a second to put Paul on there officially. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
All right.
All opposed, say nay. The other one that is up would be Mr. Fielson.
And I think that we've like done this how many different times and like let them know that you're part of that, and I don't know that anyone's ever reached out to you. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Well, it sounds like this board you want to be on then. Are you willing to serve on that, Kevin, if they ever come around and need you? All right.
Not from what I heard this morning. Still haven't.
I guess I'd make a motion that we reappoint Kevin Fieldson to that position.
All right.
I don't know if that's our deal to reappoint, or is that Forward Devils Lake that
Oh, good question.
they're on board that?
So this,
Okay.
and there's still a vacant position on it, so,
So I'll stick with that motion.
Everybody wants change, but no one wants to help out.
yeah. Is there a second to re-up Kevin's
I'll second.
motion and a second to reappoint Kevin to the Forward Devils Lake Development Corporation? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Library board, I guess I was up in
And June,
end of June. I will be willing to serve on that board again.
I'd make a motion to approve or appoint Commissioner Gessner to the library board.
Second.
Want that effective today, or does it have to be
Well, it's for a 3-year term, but I suppose we could do it just like we did
airport?
with the airport and
Sure.
get it timed out there so it comes the end of the year.
Make that motion to be retroactive through from the 1st of July.
I will second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion carried. Looks like perimeter road committee is good. Local governance study committee. We have 1 vacant spot. Well, 2 vacant spots. Mr. Labar has passed away, so that will.
So did Mr. Stubbe.
Oh, he did. Yes, he did. So there will be nobody on that board. Since nobody's beating down the door, do we just leave that vacant for now?
I don't know that we've ever done it.
Yeah, okay. Chamber board, is that, there's no time on that one?
Mm-mm.
Okay. And Lake Region Heritage Center board, is that the one that you took over?
Yep.
Okay. Community action, Jeff, you still okay with being on that one?
Yep.
Dakota Prairie?
We just had a meeting on Saturday. Pretty easy board to be on.
There's 1 vacancy on the Ramsey County Soils Committee with no time limit on those terms, apparently. Lake Access Committee, Blaine, you still good with that one?
Yeah.
O&M Committee. I guess that's another one of those committees that don't do a lot, so with no deadline, so I guess we don't have to do anything with those. Devils Lake Outlet, that's government appointed. North Plains Resource Conservation and Development Council, Bill, you're on that.
Yep.
Lake Region Human Service Advisory Board, Paul, you're on there. And according to this,
That was when he was appointed.
oh, and then there's no time.
No.
Okay.
No.
And Visitors Committee, Kyle Blanchfield's on there until 2027. That should take care of the board appointments. Approval of the letters of transfer. There's some bills that haven't been ran through the process yet, so we can approve the letters of transfer that are there and give Candy the permission to do the others as they are turned in or completed. I guess completed. Is that the best way?
So the letters of transfer are the law enforcement center and the emergency management. I believe that we pay half of his wages. I know that there was something else that he was going to order. He was hoping to get that done today. I don't know if that got done or not. So, and we just had another bill for to be pays out of the law enforcement center. It's the MMIS billing that we get. That's the medical side of it. And I just got an email on that today. So I think they're up to 1,700,000 and something to transfer.
So a little less than the 1.8 that was budgeted.
Yep.
Finishing in the black.
Yep. Yep.
Is there a motion to approve the transfers?
Motion to approve the transfers.
I'll second.
Motion to approve the transfers. Does that include the ones that are not completed yet?
Yep.
Okay.
And
Motion,
we're going to, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. We're going to do things a little bit different next year. That we'll be notifying department heads in the month of early November.
To get final in.
Yes, yes.
Yep.
So that all final bills are that are wanting to come out of that year's budget be submitted by the last meeting of the year.
Which is always the second.
Yeah.
Third Tuesday.
I mean, I know that we have like a couple weeks left,
Yeah.
but you know, we use that as we call it the emergency for if something happens. I know that we have to write a check every Wednesday anyway for Blue Cross to finish out the year. So, I mean, if there is something that needs to be paid, like it will get paid, but we just want the board to know what it is instead of. So,
okay, there's a motion and a second to approve the transfers. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Letter of resignation. State's Attorney Cummings has decided to terminate his employment effective the 24th of January 2025. So we will need to appoint a replacement. Or is it 2 years of his term?
Mhm.
yes.
To fill out the 2 years of the term. What are the commission's wishes?
So we need to appoint or we can open the job?
Appoint
Well, we can
or
open the position.
open the
for-
position, but we have to appoint them because it's a
Elected.
elected position.
So we'd go through the interview process,
Yeah.
similar to like a job interview. Had to go through that twice now. When Judge Olson was appointed to a judge and when Gary Agonis was appointed to a judge. So, and that's kind of how we did it was, although we didn't have a stable of qualified assistants in the office.
Right.
But I think opening up would be a prudent way to go about doing it in an interview process. Similar to a job, and then it'd be all 5 of us in an open meeting format and ask questions.
I guess that's kind of the way I feel too, is it'd be the most transparent way to do it.
Right.
The only addition I'll add is that the advice and consent of the governor is required as per century code. So looping the governor's office in on whoever the decision is made upon before you appoint and move forward needs to be done, just so the governor's office doesn't come back and say, well, you can't do that. And then it creates further delays and issues for the county. I'm not sure quite what that process is, but, or if that was done in the past.
I thought that was just in the removal of, if there was a removal of a state's attorney through the governor's office, or
If there was going to be, that is true for removal of a state's attorney, but Century Code requires that, or the only requirement for filling a vacancy is that the county appoint with the advice and consent of the governor's office.
Yep.
There's no other real terms to do that. That's the only requirement. So I doubt the governor's office will care overly much who the choice is, other than knowing why you chose the person you chose. But just prefer that it gets done right the first time so that it doesn't cause delays for the county and the state's attorney's office moving forward.
Yep.
So we pick a person and inform the governor's office of it, or pick a person and inform that's who we would like?
Yes, advice and consent. So I doubt they'll be giving much advice on our local politics. Maybe they will, but it does require the governor's consent.
Okay.
Which, again, I would assume that they would blanket approve whoever the commission appoints. But
Okay.
I don't know.
So is there thoughts on timeline, gentlemen?
I think if we could get that posting out by the end of the week, we could maybe have closing by, I'd say, the 3rd of January, and maybe stretch it out to the 10th at the very latest, and then hold interviews that following week.
Is that agreeable with everybody?
If you're going to appoint, would you still have, like, I don't know, thinking it over in my head right now. Because I'm just thinking of the different offices, like in the past, that when you appointed someone that it wasn't like advertised or open to the public.
If it wasn't, it should have.
I would think so. Like I said, it's just the most transparent way to do
I
it.
don't think we have appointed before because we didn't have assistants.
But I was
So we
appointed.
had to, oh, yeah, that's right.
But
Bev was appointed.
you were a deputy. She was the deputy. But I don't think there was any job opening or posting of that position.
No.
So,
And there isn't required to be so.
There-
The only requirement, according to statute, is to fill an elected county official position is the commission must appoint and the governor must advise and consent. And those are the only requirements per Century Code. I agree with Commissioner Gesner that the most transparent way of doing it is just opening it up to the general public. Since it is an elected position, that gives everybody the appearance that you are letting the general public apply. Obviously, those who are qualified have to apply. And then the commission can make the most appropriate appointment pursuant to the applicants. I think that's what was done when Judge Olson left back in 2016 and Judge Agonis was appointed to the state's attorney's office. And then Mr. Cummings when Judge Agonis left. There's a course of business, so that maintaining that same course would be appropriate. But again, it's not a requirement. It's more of how the county wants to conduct business in the county. And either forge a new path or continue on with a plan that I think has served the county well. I don't think it's been a bad course of business to continue on with. But just to recap, there are no requirements on how the commission appoints. That's entirely up to the five of you how to do so.
Looks like you're counting out days there, Blaine. What's your thoughts?
What?
Looks like you're counting out days there. What's your thoughts?
I'm just counting out days of, if we were to advertise it, how many days to advertise?
10.
I think there's a 10-day minimum.
Mhm.
Yep. So
The only reason I like the advertised thing is having two individuals in there right now. If you were to, I would feel, let's say I was in that position and you appoint someone, is the other person going to feel like they didn't have a shot at it? And then we lose that individual this way. If the two were to apply and one of them wasn't getting selected, at least they got to.
Right.
That's my feelings on it, because I hate to kick someone right behind that because they didn't even get a shot.
Well, that's why I think doing it this way is transparent and that,
Yeah.
you know, it's as levels playing field.
I understand we have the authority to appoint, but it could shoot us in the foot. That's my opinion. Makes me a little nervous, just appointing.
Any other thoughts, gentlemen?
I have one more thought, and just because it personally affects me, and I think everybody has it in their minds, it just hasn't been said out loud. If we could have that decided before Mr. Cummings leaves, so that there's no uncertainty moving forward.
And I think that would give us time because
Yeah.
till 24 January. I think we have plenty of time to
Absolutely.
make that decision.
I mean, it should be done in final
Yeah.
week before he leaves. So
right.
I've heard some
Even
horror
if we-
stories from.
Yeah.
even if we have to move it back.
Yeah.
You know,
I think the third would be appropriate.
okay.
I think everybody was thinking that. I just wanted to make sure I said it out loud.
Yeah, but that way it gives you time to do the interview, make the decision,
Right. You're not
leaves that 10 days roughly to
Right.
fill the position.
that timeline. I guess we'll entertain a motion to that.
That we advertise and close, that we advertise for the position and close the 3rd,
Yes.
or we could even we close the 5th, so then that Monday you have the paperwork.
Okay.
Either way.
Yes, Candy.
Can we accept the letter of resignation first?
Oh shoot, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we could do that.
Or we
That's
could
how-
make that motion to accept the resignation letter of Mr. Bo Cummings.
We have a motion to accept the resignation letter. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor of accepting the resignation letter, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just
So now
gotta keep it straight.
we're ready to set the timeline.
Mhm. And the advertisement can start tomorrow.
It can start tomorrow. I was just gonna ask that. Yep, we can start tomorrow. If we get the advertisement to start tomorrow, I'm all for closing. But
Because I believe that Bo has been visiting with Brian, went over everything, and he was actually ready to post it today, and I told him no,
okay,
to just
make that we
hold on.
post it and close by the 3rd, so we have everything here by the 6th,
So if you go
because he should have received them by then,
4, 6, 7,
Or
8, 9,
by
10,
Tuesday, imagine. snail.
So 10 days would take it to December 27th.
Unless we do the 1st of January. We do the 1st of January, then we get, hopefully they have in hand by the 3rd of January. Is that fair? Yeah. So I'll make,
You got a couple holidays in there. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's, I think the third.
end of
is
the
still-
year.
I think
I
the
think
third.
third
should
is still.
be-
okay,
Let's stick with the third.
that's my motion, sticking with it.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion to advertise the state's attorney's job, close on the January 3rd. And have the interviews conducted
I think,
and a candidate accepted by the 17th of January. Is
I
that,
was gonna say that, have it.
Well, if we can work it in with the interviewee question or the
right?
timeline.
Any other discussion? Any other clarification? All in favor, say aye.
I,
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Discussion on quit claim deed. Mr. Howell.
So, Candy is pulling up the visual aid. The county owns this little sliver of land via a tax deed issued by the auditor's office in 2003. The deed itself is a little vague. It uses some terms that don't really make sense as far as deeds go in modern definitions. The reason this is coming, I'm bringing this before you today, is that the landowner to the southeast of our little sliver of land there, their attorney feels that the way our tax deed is written, it casts a cloud on their deed. And essentially, what our deed says, and I can provide a copy of the tax deed if anybody is curious about the actual language. What it says is, from the common line of lot 22, lot 23, east, less the land that is previously deeded to, or previously deeded and recorded. So my understanding of the situation is that our sliver of land is identified here, and we are not claiming any ownership over the property to the southeast of our land. Their attorney continues to feel that a quitclaim deed, basically saying that the county doesn't own anything that is part of their previously recorded deed records, that piece of land and that piece of land and that piece of land. These are all well established. This is all part of the Riggins Acres development that I believe was originally recorded back in the 60s or 70s. It's been chopped up and distributed in different pieces over the years. So there's a little bit of a mess as far as where these lot lines are. And it's kind of, in this situation, is culminating in the attorney for these landowners is asking that we give a quitclaim deed, basically identifying what her client has already recorded and has, I would say, valid ownership of. And so I believe it's been included in your packets today. That quitclaim deed basically identifies those pieces of land as not belonging to the county, and there's no disclaimer of what we have identified as our piece of land there. That's the situation. The legality and I guess realistic background is this has been an issue that I've been dealing with that attorney for several months on. I've been slow rolling it just because I needed to make sure I understood real estate law a little better than I did before I had to deal with this. That's not something we deal with very often in the state's attorney's office. The most appropriate and stringent recommendation I could give you according to the law is that we don't give up anything that we could possibly own as a governmental entity if we've seized land as for non-payment of taxes. Then we certainly don't want to just give up land that the county and taxpayers consider to be part of county property. The reality of the situation is that this strip of land was seized for roughly $150 in unpaid taxes in 2003. The county auditor and other county offices somehow identified that the sliver wasn't being paid for because in a previous conveyance of land, this strip wasn't conveyed properly, so it was left out of conveyances. So the most appropriate thing we could do is get a surveyor out there. I think Dave Hovendick is one of the last surveyors in the area.
Pretty sure he's retired.
Yeah, he's trying to retire.
He's trying to retire.
As far as he can.
I've had a conversation with him about this
Okay.
piece of property already. But Dave Hovendick might be willing to do it. We may have to pull in somebody from out of town. I'm going to say it again. The reality is it was for $150 in taxes that I think the survey would probably cost more than that in the long run. But we could force this party to essentially sue the county for quiet title. And we would go through the whole court process, which would require still us to get a surveyor out there to correctly identify what we own in the area.
So basically all they want us to do is they want pins so they know where their property is at.
Their property has been surveyed.
We just don't have pins on our property.
As far as I'm aware, that is correct. And they're not even asking us to do that. They're just asking us to disclaim any ownership over their property, which I don't think we're claiming at all. And
We just need
it's
to prove that what we are claiming is ours.
that would be the most appropriate way to do it. They're bringing this issue. They're requesting that we do something. We don't have to do anything. We should probably identify what exactly we own in this area. And so a survey might be appropriate just to make sure what the county possesses. And since this is,
So they just bringing us up because they would like to buy it? Or?
no, they don't even, they already own this property. Really, the issue is they cannot sell the mortgage on this property to another bank until the next owner of the mortgage feels that there's not a cloud on the title. So the issue is they think our deed is claiming some pieces of their property. I don't believe that that's the case, but we can go through the entire legal process of going through a quiet title action. They would sue the county. They would name all previous owners of the land. And we would go through the process of making sure that everybody's lot lines, everybody's deeds are absolutely as correct as they could possibly be. And the result will be most likely that they would get a deed from us saying we have no claim over their property. And it would shore up what our property is in that area. We can forego that process and just quit claim their previously deeded property, just making them happy that we are not claiming any of that. That basically circumvents the need for the court process. We wouldn't have to get the survey done. We probably should, just to know what we have in the area specifically. And that's pretty much the summation of the issue is, well, I'm sorry. The other issue is that this is a tax deed property that's been on our books for 20 plus years at this point. I'm not sure why. We're not really sure. I've had some conversations with Candy about why this wasn't auctioned off a good long while ago. now that it's been identified, it's been brought to our attention, so we'll address it in the best way possible. But we don't show that there are any current outstanding taxes. I mean, we've identified what was previously owed, so we can auction it off when appropriate for that amount. But I think before we even do that, we might need to get a survey done just to make sure that we're auctioning off the appropriate property.
So you're looking for a motion to get it surveyed?
I think a survey would be most appropriate first, and then based on that survey, we might, I might feel it appropriate to recommend that that quit claim deed be signed. And so, again, the survey isn't necessary because we're not the ones seeking to do anything here other than trying to do things the most correct way possible. But the quit claim deed is before you, should you want to review it or make a motion on it. But otherwise, I think a survey is our good first step as far as addressing the issue at large.
The quick claim deed, all that does is say they're not liable of it.
All it says is we don't own what they have previously recorded. It's not disclaiming our property. It's not saying we don't own what's in our deed.
They own this,
Mhm.
this.
Well, they're thinking that we're overlapping onto their property.
Essentially,
This is.
that's what we have identified as belonging to the county, and I don't think our deed makes any claim to theirs, to their property identified in their deeds, but they continue to want this addressed by the county, so I'm bringing it to your attention now. Frankly, I'm still unsure 100% that our deed is written so vaguely that I can't know exactly what we own in the area, but I think it is written definitively enough to know that we're not claiming their property. So the survey being done at least helps us identify what we own in the area, but it's not
What we could potentially put up.
sure. So having the survey done would enable us to put up an accurate piece of property should we want to put that up for auction next year.
Well, I guess as long as, I think we do need to have it surveyed. I mean, that's obviously
It just clears up the mess.
just clears up the mess, and as long as this quick claim deed is basically harmless to the county, I think just make a motion to get them
I'll
both.
make the motion that we do a survey of that property so that we can clean up our abstract, basically.
I would second that.
A motion and a second to have that county property properly surveyed so that the abstract can be cleaned up. Is there any other discussion?
And then once we get that survey done, I'm not sure if that can be done during the winter months, but we'll
For tomorrow, but
we'll bring it back as long as I don't get my door beaten down by the opposing council. We'll bring it back to have the commission sign that quit or make a motion to sign that quit claim deed.
Okay. Any other discussion?
And then put it up for sale.
Then put it up for sale, correct. All in favor of having the piece of land surveyed to properly define our property line, say aye.
All right.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Visitors and delegations. Any announcements from anybody? I will call this meeting. Yeah.
We got new phones today.
We got new phones today.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Christmas present to everybody.
Is that all taken care of then? That grade? Are we-
They are coming back tomorrow to like help with like voicemail and anything or whatever, but they were able to like went pretty smooth for 100 and some phone lines.
Okay.
So
Anything else? I'll adjourn this meeting. My son should probably wrestle up more often.
He's pinned both guys less than 30 seconds. My wife said he's mad. He won't even talk to her.